Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's analysis. I hope you're all well, having a wonderful week. Welcome back to our analysis here at Financial Hub. I'll do the analysis as usual. I wasn't in on Monday, so Monday didn't do anything. I wasn't here on Monday. I had a few things to do, but today I'll do it. Today Ken is not in, so I'll be the one taking you through the analysis. I saw a few things he did on Monday, so I'll also go through a lot of that. What has happened since Monday? We've seen gold fell on Monday like crazy till the 18th, was it 44, 45 level, before rebounding back to 75 and then dropping back down again. What have I seen? Dollar was rising a bit. Was it rising? I think USD CAD was rising. Aussie dollar was falling. I don't know about the other pairs. I'll go through that in a few. But that's mainly what we've been seeing. So as usual, I'll do the analysis. I'll just break down markets. We see what we're waiting for. If you have any questions, please ask me in the chat room. I'll be free to answer your questions. But let's just break down the markets. Look at how I look at the markets, what I'm looking for, trades I have running. I have one trade running. And then we see. We just break it down and see what's happening. On top of that, there's risk later on today on the dollar pair. So if you trade the dollar, be quite cautious. Okay, so don't have many trades running at the same time, because it might really confuse you, because we have interest rates coming out later on today, but at 9 p.m. Kenyan time, that's afternoon in the US. So there's the interest rates. Then after that, what are we normally looking for? We're looking at the FOMC press conference. So immediately after interest rates, pay attention to the press conference, because also that can again change the direction of the markets depending on what Powell has to say, because we already expect interest rates to remain the same. We don't expect them to increase, but we have to pay attention to what Powell will say about the economy, because it will give us anticipation about what will happen in the future, because I'm sure he'll touch on things like inflation, consumer price index and such. But anyway, that's what we are looking at fundamentally. Let me share my screen. Ask any questions if you want. I'll go through a few pairs. As usual, I don't trade all pairs, and I won't go through all pairs on things that I don't understand. So starting off, this is just trading economics. So looking at fundamentals, you can see interest rates, decision, economic projections, and the press conference at 9 p.m. and 9:30. So today it feels like the press conference normally lasts for some time. It can last for 30, 45 minutes, at most I think 1 hour, where Powell is just saying about the economy, and then he's normally asked by a few people some questions on it. So what are we looking at starting off? So let's start with gold. What are we looking at gold? Gold had a crazy drop on Monday. Okay, so people who trade this pair, what gold does. So let me just adjust this line. Let's go full screen here. So full screen, if we take this as the bottom, but we got this double bottom formation down here a few weeks ago. If you remember that, right? I was at 1675 level. So 1675, 1680 level. Good double bottom. Look at that arc, that formation, got that double bottom, and I pushed the upside. So what happened after that? We've been having this trend line. So if I adjust this trend line, how it was at first, it was somewhat like this. Okay, so it was somewhat like that. So you can see that first touch, beautiful second touch. Got that third touch, a wonderful rejection, a push to the upside. However, we failed to break to new highs. Okay, so market failed to break to new highs, which is totally normal. So what did I do? I adjusted my trend line. So how I adjust my trend line? I moved to the second previous higher low. So higher low, higher low. Take this as a starting point, and let's see how that fares off, okay? Because the trend hasn't changed. The trend is still higher highs, higher lows. I take that and I use this one over here as my second turning point, and this is what we get, okay? So you can see that. That's what we get. A beautiful touch here, so first touch, second touch, third touch, in line with this sort of flag formation, okay? So you can see this previous resistance. So this 1850 level, broken quite strongly, had a retest here, pushed to the upside. We've gotten a second retest yet again. This is what we saw on Monday. Market fell crazily to 1845, 50 level. So that whole region is more of a support level. You can see it's a support level. It's in line with this flag formation. It's in line with this trend line. So what are we expecting? There can be some bullish formation coming, Okay, some bullish correct trend all the way to the 1950. So if I can plot, where is that? There can be some bullish momentum coming to the 1950 level. Remember, I covered 1950 level, which maybe stops below this previous support, so around the 1835 level. So that's about 250 pips stop, quite a lot. But if you use bread position sizing, it's quite fine because the risk reward is 1:4. If you go to the 1-day chart, okay, 1-day chart, remember I was telling you about this level. Expect this market to at least reach this level before we see a strong correction, like a very strong correction. If market can push all the way to this resistance level, then that's where we can get some rejection. I'm sure many people who bought around here have their targets around here, especially after breaking this level. There are many targets that are floating to get around here. Okay. However, I cannot negate the fact that this market can still continue to fall. So that's why I'm looking at that 1850 level. If market breaks back below that level, closes below, market can come to this region, maybe get a retest of this trend line. Okay. So then, how will you know that one? That one will be watching the current trend line we have on the 4-hour chart. If that trend line is broken, this one, okay, if this trend line is broken, expect this market now to be in a massive correction all the way to the 1800 level, and at most, if you go lower, maybe the 1775 level, around that region. Okay, but pay attention to this trend line, this support region. There's a lot of confluence happening around here, which can just slowly push the market higher. Okay, so with that said, look into the dollar pairs. Dollar. Here we go. Okay, so dollar, what pattern are we forming? This is the 4-hour chart. Let's start with the daily. So I don't have much on the daily. What I'm just watching on the daily is this zone we're in. Okay, just paying attention. Remember, long-term downtrend. So the trend is different till the trend breaks. Till the trend breaks, we're having lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. This can just be we've been having a lot of sideways correction for quite some time. This can just be, normally when I'm seeing such, I normally try and look what pattern is forming, because this is sort of a double bottom and market is correcting. Remember, I'm always looking to trade in the direction of the trend. So if I got the 4-hour chart, what am I looking at? So I'm trying to look at this push to the upside. We're sort of struggling, okay? So if I zoom around this region where we are. So remember, I'm always using the market structure. I'm looking for levels of resistance and support and what pattern is forming within those regions. What I'm seeing here is sort of a flag formation, okay? This market can push to this level in line with this third touch. So this first touch, second touch, a third touch over here, which is a previous support resistance. Okay, look at this resistance. So I'm looking if market can push to that level, get some resistance, and then drop further down. Okay, so basically having that impulse, a correction in the form of a flag, and an impulse to the downside. Okay, so that's what I'll be watching later on today, especially at NFP. You can see market today, better part of yesterday, just sideways movement. Even basically better part of the week, sideways movement over here. So I'm pretty sure we're waiting for some FOMC meeting, the interest rates decisions, Powell to talk later on today, and then we'll see quite some movement. So I'm expecting, I won't have any trade running on this one until I want to see if market can push to that level, get a good close before we go down. If we break above this level, then my next target is this previous resistance, okay, around that region. But ultimately, long-term, I'm very, very short on this pair, okay? But I'll be paying attention to this analysis that's panning out. So I'll be waiting for the FOMC later on today. Let's see how that goes. This can offer a very good trade, especially if it goes to that region, get some rejection. On the gold pair, it can offer good long, especially if this market starts falling further down. If I move lower to my USD card, I have a trade running on this one. I took it, was it yesterday? Yeah, I took it yesterday. So what has been happening on this one? So long-term trend, downtrend. I'm not heavily a trader who trades against the trend, so I'm not contrarian much. So whenever I have such trades, I don't really take quite a big position, so I risk quite a bit. So what am I watching on this one? Look at this beautiful downtrend that we've been having the better part of last year as well as this year, okay? But for the past 2 months or so, we've entered into this consolidation phase. And if you look at the 1 week chart, just go to a bigger time frame. Look at where we are. We're at a very crucial support level. That's why I had that buy. I was looking at the buy. That's why I was telling you, I don't really trade much against the trend, but looking at how market has been consolidating over here, looking at these patterns, it was quite a good risk reward to take opposite trade on that one, unless we get a strong break of this level. We haven't been below this level since 2015. Okay, for the past 5-6 years, we haven't been below this level. We've just been dangling around this region. So you have to pay attention to such levels. So if I go back to the daily chart, we've been coming in the form of this. And now what happened? You can know for sure this is a significant level. Many people are paying attention to it because of this consolidation that has been happening over here. Better seen on the 4-hour chart. It's just a top-down analysis, just breaking down and seeing the levels that broke forming. So if you come to this level, clearly you can see these patterns. So a clear sideways movement over here, okay? Over here before, normally I keep saying this a lot, before it breaks a long consolidation, what normally happens, if you see the last formation happening within that consolidation, either being a triangle formation, that can be in the form of a symmetric triangle, ascending triangle, or a descending triangle, normally there's a break coming to happen. So this is what we're getting on this one, okay? So we sort of had this formation. This is sort of an ascending triangle. So you can look at that pattern, look at how we are rejecting this support level and this resistance level, okay? And then finally we had this strong breakout. So immediately after this strong breakout and retest, I had a buy over here because you see we had really rejected this level. You can see the first touch, second touch, third touch. So I want to be following such. Breakout retest. This was yesterday. I had a buy level over there immediately. This is on the 4-hour chart, but looking at the 1-hour chart, you can see it much clearly, and that pushed the upside. Now, what am I paying attention to? It was good to take some profit over here. However, I'm still expecting more push to the upside because what you can see, if you look at this candlestick, so I'm always paying attention to candlesticks and how it's respecting certain levels. So you see this rejection level, you can see yesterday we had a breakout and a quick rejection back below. So whenever I say a quick rejection back below, it's a warning, okay? It's a warning because market means this was a false breakout, market fall back in, it can continue dropping. However, I want to watch to pay attention to this level. Let me show you. Better seen on the 1-hour chart, but I don't want to look at the 1-hour chart. So I'm paying attention to this small level over here, okay? Once market starts breaking below that level, then I'll be very cautious on that trade. But as long as we're above that level, I want to see if market can push all the way up to the 1.23 level, okay? If you go to the daily chart, it's in line with this trend line that we're watching, okay? This trend line. So I want to see if market can come and respect where this trend line is before we get any movement to either side. Okay, so that's what I have on USD card. Let me not waste so much time there. Moving on to Aussie dollar, this is a pair that doesn't move as much, but when it gets a good trend, you can make quite a lot of money with proper risk. With proper position sizing. So on Aussie dollar, I won't position size the same as I will on gold, because gold can move like 200 pips in minutes. This pair, by the time it moves 200 pips, my friend, will have waited for a long time. Sometimes it can really get, especially if it's moving the direction of the trend, can move quite heavily. So what's happening on this one? Some head and shoulder formation over here. I think Ken was covering this the other day. So something you should pay attention to, go to the 1-week chart. Do not forget the big picture. Go back to the 1 day and see I've drawn quite a. Get rid of this one on the weekly charts. One sec. Weekly, so let's go to the weekly. Oh yeah. So pay attention to this. Look at the long term. Never forget the long term. And zoom it out. This trend line, okay? Long term, this pair has been in a downtrend since it topped in 2011. Okay? Lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. You see this trend line, I've been talking about it a lot last year. Look at that touch. Market came back after getting this sort of a channel-like formation. You can see this rejection down here and another quick rejection over here. Quick correction all the way to this level. We haven't had any significant correction apart from this sideways movement, okay? So pay attention to that trend line, okay? So let me zoom it in. Another level you should pay attention to. Let's say this trend line is broken, to the upside on the weekly chart. Then I want to look at this level. See this resistance level? I'm pretty sure I have a sort of over 80% chance that if market breaks this level to the upside, then this rejection will be a good target for these people who are buying this market before it continues dropping. Because look at this resistance. A resistance here, resistance here, resistance here. If we get that push again, that can act as a very good resistance if we're able to break this trend line. So if you look at this for the past, past almost 3 months, this market has been in a sideways movement. So I haven't really been performing well on this pair because I'm a trend trader. This market hasn't really been moving in either direction. If you go back to the daily chart, you want to see this pattern that's forming within that consolidation. Remember, I told you, whenever consolidation is coming to an end, if you're able to spot a triangular formation, very, very good. And this is what I'm spotting over here. Look at this sideways movement in line with this sort of head and shoulders. So we have this left shoulder ahead. We have one neck over here, another right shoulder. This is the right shoulder. You can expect. So normally when you're looking at head and shoulders, you're normally expecting for this market to correct to the downside. If it's an inverse head and shoulder, you're looking for bullish momentum to the upside. Okay. So what I'm watching now is this triangular formation. If we're able to break this triangle, my first target will be this support, okay? This support over here. If we're able to break that, then I'll be expecting market at least to come and test this 200 moving average in line with this previous resistance, okay? But that's long term. Resistance and support. I'll be watching if market can go back to that level too. Just looking left, structural lit flow, looking for those key levels, okay? To go down to the 4-hour chart, we've been moving in the form of a channel-like formation. Remember, I spotted this some few weeks ago. So you want to pay attention to this pattern that's forming, if we're actually forming that correction. So this is just an impulse, an A, B, C correction that market can get to come to this lower level. So that's what I'll be watching. If not, another perspective I have on this one, this can be an impulse, a correction over here in the form of a flood. Market can come and touch this level for a third time and then push further up, continue with the uptrend. Maybe targeting that level I'm talking about on the weekly chart. But if you're respecting that trend line I've talked about, then wait and see if this market can get some correction to the downside. So that's what I have. What else do we cover? Dow Jones, I won't lie, I don't have a proper clear analysis on Dow Jones. So let me not get really into it. And those are the pairs I trade. But most of you trade different pairs. Maybe if you look at Euro USD, also this one has been forming in the direction of US. What is it? DXY. Sorry about that. So DXY, you can see patterns are forming. Patterns galore. I like patterns really much because market doesn't really move randomly. There's a certain structure being followed, and basically what you're seeing here. This was an impulse. This impulse, I remember, it ended in the form of a wedge. Okay, so we had sort of this pattern. Let me just show you. Ended in the form of a wedge, sort of like that. It was quite clear, quite clear. So we had that false breakout in the form of a wedge. So normally, I keep talking about this. Whenever we're approaching a key level, how are we approaching it? Are we approaching it with momentum, or are we approaching the pattern? Clearly, this one came in the form of a pattern. From that double top, people who got this breakout got stopped out. Quickly market fell, got that retest, and now market has entered into this flag formation. Okay, so let me get rid of that. So you can see we're within this flag formation. So what am I paying attention to? I'm not expecting the market to come below this support level. It was hard to break it. You can see that first touch, second touch, third touch, strong break, a retest, push to the upside. Now market is correcting in the form of an flag formation. Normally when you see such, expect some momentum can come and push momentum, the market to the upside, okay? Market can come to the upside. And I'm sure this market is also in anticipation of the Feds later on today. So you'll see a lot of sideways movement before that news. If I'm able to zoom out clearly, you can see, maybe let's look at it on the daily. With this trend line that's still forming, okay? So remember, there's this formation we're still watching, okay? If you look at this channel-like formation, this is basically a channel. Long-term market has been in an uptrend. So we can still be in that bullish momentum. Maybe just got some correction where we are before we get that push to the upside for market to go way, way higher as that dollar keeps dropping and as this pair continues rising. Currently, we're dangling around the moving average, okay? So market is respecting this moving average. I normally use moving average because I'm a trend trader, so I want to know which direction market is really moving towards. So if you get a drop of this market, like I said, to this previous level, I want to watch if you can get a push to this level, maybe a retest of this before we go further up. Okay, so that's what you're seeing on the 4 hour. Let me zoom in. So this is what we're talking about here. Market can drop all the way back to this level, touch of the trend line, and a further push to the upside. However, okay, another decision that will make the trend not really go to this level, if market respects this channel like you're watching, this flag, so impulse correction in the form of a flag, if we start breaking above this before we get a drop lower, then expect this market also to continue a bit higher. And I think that's the same thing you're looking at on DXY, that flag we're talking about. This one's the inverse. If I go back to that DXY, it's the same thing that's happening, just inverse, okay? So this impulse, a correction, okay? And then we're expecting that rejection, maybe around this level, market can really drop. So watch that level later on today. Moving on to another pair, EJ, I have nothing on that one. I don't trade it. GU, you guys who trade GU, you've been having sideways movement. Got that breakout yesterday, so I don't watch this pair. Okay, but just looking at it, I can see a flag formation. So this just takes practice. The more you practice, the more you can spot these patterns. So there you go. You can see that flag formation. Sort of market is sort of pulling back to this level. Let me get rid of this. There you go. So I love such patterns. So what you're seeing, let's zoom this. I like seeing such patterns. I haven't noticed this. So previously, you want to know market had come to a very strong rejection level over there. You always want to pay attention to such levels, okay? There you go. And now market has sort of within this correction phase, okay? So if market was really getting a double top and really falling to the downside, just before we go to that, just what I was trying to say, normally when you're seeing a lot of sideways movement, like I said, whenever you spot a triangle towards the end, a lot of impulse is about to come in. That's what we got over here. Sideways movement into a triangle, look at that breakout, market hasn't even gone back to that territory since we broke out, okay? So now you want to pay attention to this level. Where are we currently? Look at that trend line, look at that level we are. Look at this support, okay? Market can really struggle to break the support. Remember what I keep saying. How are we approaching the level? This market is approaching this support in the form of a very weak impulse, okay? And like this level, remember here, watch this. That's the difference. Watch this. This market fell with momentum, got that breakout and a retest, okay? And we strayed below that level. Now the opposite thing is happening. We've gone to a higher level. So this ceiling is now acting as our floor. We got that retest, just like what we got here. Break, retest, market remain below. Now we got a break to the upside, market retest, market is still above, okay? So as long as we remain above this level, market can come and retest the support later on, maybe today, or maybe get that impulse and break this flag, okay? So that impulse, flag, and a break to the upside, continuation with the trend. And on the daily chart, we have a good trend forming. Here we go. Look at that perfect trend, okay? Look at that. We can get another rejection here and market can move to the upside. However, long term, this trend is going to break because we've rejected it so many times. Look at that. First touch, second touch, third touch, fourth touch, fifth touch. One way or another, we can also break it. So be wary of that. This trend line is getting weaker and weaker the more we reject it. So one way or another, it's going to break. But pay attention to that on GU. That's my view on that one. And I think that's pretty much it. How is our GJ doing? The GJ we've been covering for quite some time. I remember GJ looking at the daily chart. This pattern that we've been watching. Okay, so impulse in the form of uptrend in the form of a channel. So you can see that rejection, all the way to that up level, now at resistance level. So we got the 4 hour chart. Just to zoom into what's happening up there, you can see we entered into this sort of a wedge-like pattern. Then market broke to the downside, then a lot of sideways movement again, okay? So momentum is going to come in. It's going to kick in one or another. Still market can push again to the upside, maybe get a touch over here. That's why it's quite hard to get a trade against the trend, it can really disturb. Like, for example, and I keep saying this a lot, someone who tried shorting here maybe got some good trades, but this guy who bought made more money. Trying to short up here also got disturbed a lot. Trying to short up here, that's why it's always good to go against the trend. But however, that doesn't mean that I should start buying without any bias. Okay, so do your proper analysis, look at what is happening over here. So that if I can just draw a trend line, let's see, counter trend, is there anything forming here? So yeah, so you sort of have something of the sort. Can this be a flag? Let's clone it. Let's see. Not really, don't force anything. But anyway, you want to watch that counter trend line up there. Let's see how that one is respected. Maybe it can be in the form of a triangle. Okay, so just take it there. Go to this level. This, if you go to the hourly chart, I'm sure you see quite better. Just as I keep saying, during a consolidation, it's quite easy to get triangle as the last formation happening. Okay, so you want to pay attention to that. Watch how market is going to respect that. A breakout can push this market really lower. A push to the upside can also take it higher. Normally, when I see a triangle, I'm normally in anticipation of either set being broken. Okay, let me see. Is this on the 1 hour? Let me put it on the 1 hour. Let's look at it on the 1 hour. I think we'll see a much clearer triangle. Go. Yeah, so there we go. Quite a clean triangle. So pay attention to this. Just putting it right now. Remember I told you, the more you practice, the more you can spot this stuff. So watch this triangle. They're normally quite good in terms of risk reward. Normally after a break, what you can get is a breakout retest. But in my terms of back testing, triangles can really break out and just go without any correction. Okay. So that's what we're watching for our charts. We've already done that analysis. I think that's a solid analysis on that one. So watch that one. If you break, if you get a good close like this shooting star formation close, then watch and see if market can drop all the way to this support over here. But anyway, that's what we have on that one. I think that's it for today. I don't trade the other pairs. I swear if I get into these other ones, I'll do a lot of guesswork and a lot of time wasting because I don't have anything much on them. Maybe next time. Oh, you can look at UJ. I was doing this with a student yesterday. I don't trade this pair at all. I've never taken a trade on UJ, but of course I'll do analysis with the students, look at it, how it's doing. So yesterday when we were in class, I think we're looking at UJ. So what's happening on this one? Currently long term, I'm not really sure what's happening on that one. So you can do that one for yourself if you trade it. So just a perspective I have on this pair. Come to where market is currently over here. Okay, so what did we have? We sort of had this formation, some impulse to the upside and a correction. Normally a correction comes in the face of ABC correction. So if I take my Fibonacci, let me first expand that. If I take my Fibonacci, draw it from there to there. Okay, I want to look at the 50 level and 61.8. I want to look at these levels, see how market is going to respect. So if you see, if I take this as my bottom, that as my top, a correction over here, you can see market can form this A, B, C. So now what's happening over here? A wedge-like pattern is forming over here. If you go to the 4 hour chart, you see it much clearly in line with this Fibonacci 78.6, okay? It's sort of a Gartley pattern. Ken keeps talking about that, a Gartley pattern. You can see this impulse, a correction in the form of a wedge. I love such patterns. These patterns offer a very good risk reward trade, okay? You can see that 78.6 sort of forming that, sort of looking like a head and shoulder formation. Sort of, you can see a massive drop on this one, maybe to a lower level. This counter trend line is broken over here. If we break below this, quite well, you can get a good formation to this lower side. This can be a crazy drop all the way from the 109.7. This can offer a very good risk reward. If you're wrong on this one, you're wrong. But the risk reward currently with this one, maybe some stops just above this. Start breaking the trend line, you're going to be in that one. And the risk reward all the way to this level. So a good one is 4.5 risk reward ratio on this one. And let's see how that pans out. Okay, so quite a solid one. If market continues pushing to the upside, you can see maybe a touch of this level yet again, maybe up here. Okay, But I'm trying to watch if market won't break the 78.6 Fibonacci level before it drops. But anyway, that's it. Let me end there. Quite a solid analysis. Quite a solid one. So that's what I'm watching on this one, on the pairs today. As usual, I'll post this analysis on YouTube. And if you need anything from us, if you need our book, our courses, feel free to contact us. I'm totally free to help. But that's how I analyze the markets. If you notice, if you use pivot points and those stuff, I don't use those stuff. I don't use indicators. I don't use signals. I don't use such stuff. Just simple breakdown of the analysis. And you get your trades here and there. So that's it from me. That's what I'm watching. I didn't cover oil. For people who trade oil and gold, man, those two pairs can blow your account. I don't know where oil is at. Oh, it's pushing all the way. Crazy. Commodities, don't mess with these things. This thing is at all-time highs. Not all-time highs, but all-time new year highs. Okay, so it's pushing all the way up 72. That's massive, crazy. I don't trade this pair, so that's it. But anyway, that's it from me, guys. I'll see you on Friday. Anyone with a question? Quite interesting analysis. Good stuff. Suchi, Sam, my guy. Keep doing it. Keep analyzing. On the Discord group, I haven't been busy. I've been busy on this other side. I haven't been on that side. So I'll get in touch with you guys. I see Keith saying, awesome, bro. Totally welcome. This week's podcast is fire motto. We'll drop it on Friday. I think we talked more about life than we talked about trading. We were talking about risk and risk management, blowing accounts and all that. I've seen guys blowing accounts. I've blown accounts. Well, on that podcast you'll hear I said I've not blown any accounts, but anyway, that podcast is going, and this time we've done a full video. Okay, we've done a totally full video on it. So if you like watching video stuff, let me show you. How do you rotate this? So I'm doing the editing of it. So you'll see it's a full video. Okay, so we've not done like a segment of it. So if you watch it on YouTube, it's going to be a whole full video on the screen. It's going to be all that. So that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to edit it up. I think this week we're going to talk on the crypto scene. We're going to talk more about cryptocurrencies. So this week we'll talk about cryptocurrencies, but on Friday, risk management. We talked about philosophy on that one, so you're going to enjoy it. But anyway, that's it from me. I have a lot to do, videos to edit, YouTube video to upload to the students to teach, meetings to attend in the afternoon. So let me get straight into that. I'll see you guys in the afternoon. Have a wonderful week. Waniki, great work on the podcast, by the way. Totally welcome. I hope you guys are enjoying them. We're just trying to give you what's in our minds, experiences we've gone through. And they're quite fun. And we'll be interviewing you guys, by the way. So if you have anything, this podcast is long-term. 5 years, we're thinking long-term. So most of you guys, I'm sure one way or another, will meet you guys. We can do some interview, your journey, how trading is, life, and all that. So anyway, that's it from me. I'll see you guys on Friday. Peace. And if you want a book from us, we have many books. But anyway, peace. I'll see you guys on Friday.